Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with an 80s twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and today we are doing the first of many a regular stream. If you've been following my channel for the past few years, you know I've been competing in ADHD Whiskey's Whiskey Tasting Invitational, Matt Madness is better known, and I haven't done so hot. So I've lost 3 years in a row. Going into year 4, I am going to be a part of the competition this year, a little bit later in the game. But I figured I need to get better at this. If I'm going to do this for the 4th time, the Cliffy Bus needs to get his skills up to par. So that's why I'm so thankful for my friend Aaron, who offered to send me a blind flight and his own set of rules to do a bit of Matt Madness training. I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't done blinds in a while. Especially like double blind, I have no idea what I'm drinking, but I'm so excited to see how well I do. Now, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on our friend. Please welcome Aaron at the Whiskey Pair on Instagram. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Clifton. How's it going?
Good. Thank you again for doing this. You sent a ton of samples. This box was huge when it arrived on my doorstep. So I got a lot of training in store for myself, but we'll take it easy. We'll just do one flight tonight. Maybe we might do the second one. We'll see if we get onto the second one. But for now, let's just plan on the first one.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So tell us a little. You're not new to this whole like competition blind flight thing. You actually do something with your friends. Tell us a little bit about like what you do for your friends.
Yeah. I have a group of friends that they basically do this tournament, and they call it the Golden Tater Tournament. It's actually a lot of fun.
Love the name.
We have quite a few people that join. Basically, the structure is single elimination. Sets of samples are sent out to pairs of competitors, and they essentially go head to head. And there's a specific set of 6 questions that are structured and scored, and that's done to make it kind of a consistent experience for each, so they can kind of compare previous events. Even though the samples change and stuff, it's still kind of a structured event. Should I kind of go through the rules that they use?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go through it. Just so you guys know, like we're gonna kind of follow these rules for this tasting. Obviously, we have no idea what Matt's gonna do this year for Matt Madness. He said the format's gonna be different, so we're just rolling with these rules, and we'll see how close they are to the official rules. But yeah, tell us how it works.
Okay, so there's 3 samples. For each sample, I'll basically ask you 6 questions. Normally, we do this online. People would, secretly send the answers, but I'll let you give your answers to me. I'll write them down, and then after each sample, after you're comfortable with your answers, I'll tell you what your score is. And at the end of tasting all 3 samples, I'll do kind of a bottle reveal and total score, and we can talk about how you did. And I do think it's kind of difficult to do more than like 3 or 4 samples and like really taste them well, but maybe we could take a break in between or something. But scoring wise, okay, I'll go through the questions.
Okay.
So the questions are, what's the age? If it's age stated. If it's not age stated, then there's no point basically available. But you want to answer that question anyways, in case there is. What's the proof? Mash bill. And the mash bill question is typically broken up into 3 options. It's standard rye bourbon, wheated bourbon, or other.
Or just rye by itself, or are they all bourbon?
Sorry,
it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, you're right. Straight rye, wheated bourbon, rye bourbon, or
gotcha.
Other. And the other kind of catches everything else.
Gotcha. Okay.
Malt or 4 grain or kind of the other kind of wild mash bills there are. Another question is the state of distillery production.
Okay.
The 5th question is what distillery was it actually manufactured or distilled at?
Gotcha.
And the last question is this a finished product or not?
Gotcha. Okay. So basically the whole gambit of type of questions I'd be asked on Matt Madness. This is actually really good. Now, do people typically kind of hedge their bet? So like they'll say like the state is Indiana, but then they'll say like Buffalo Trace. Just they're like, I don't know which one. Maybe it's one of these. Or do you have to stick with like, let's say you said Kentucky. You can't say the distillery is MGP.
It's funny you asked that. That is a question of great debate that's happening in the other group. I'm of the opinion that state really shouldn't be kind of a question because you can't really taste like what state it was from, and that's really just an indicator. If you're talking about like where it was distilled, why not just keep it as the distillery.
Narrow it down a bit more, but
Yeah,
it gives you some
I-
leeway though. Like if you're like, this is definitely a Texas whiskey, but you don't know the distillery, then that's kind of like a good way to kind of at least get some points, maybe.
That's so true. And Texas has kind of a character that's kind of common across some of the kind of those hot barrels that they age in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
for the points, basically finish, state, distillery, and mash bill all get 1 point if you get it correct.
okay.
For the age statement, it's 2 points if you nail it. It's 1 point if you're plus or minus within 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
For proof, it's similar. It's 2 if you nail it. It's 1 point if you're within 4 proof points. So if you're kind of hedging your bets and you're going to select something low proof and you want to, it gets, sometimes it's hard to try to pick between 95 proof and 100 proof.
Sure.
If you wanted to hedge, you could say like 97, 98, but it's that 4 range prevents people from using 100 to cover both 95 and like 10.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, I was trying to think what's the magic number there. I was like, if you do like 104, well, I'm not gonna reveal my secrets because I was like, if you do 104, you cover 100 through 107, right? Or is it within 4 up and down, or like
plus or minus? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. It sounds like pretty straightforward. I'm excited to go through it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do them one at a time. He's going to tell me what score I've gotten after I've done each sample. He's not going to reveal the answers because he said there's somewhat of a theme potentially here. Not guaranteed, but there could be a theme. We don't want to fully reveal it to myself before I've guessed, but should be a lot of fun. Thank you all for tuning in, by the way. I see some great folks here in the chat. I'm going to give a couple shout outs to Tony, Fred, Doug, James, Donnie, Brandon, good to see you. Zopher is here. Baker Drink says they think I'll do great this year. Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. Are you guys in it this year? I haven't kept up with the polls. Donnie says the Cliffy bus needs an upgrade this year. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm training to do some training here. By the way, I posted in our local group, so I see some folks tuning in. So here's some answers to some of the questions. Potential fix: if you don't hedge, you can earn 3 points per state. In distillery, you hit both. But if only get the distillery or state, then it's only 1 point. That's a good point. So like, it's up to you whether you want to double down or if you want to kind of like, hedge it a bit.
That's actually one of the people that runs the other tournament.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
very cool.
He hopped in.
Very cool. Well, all right. Well, also disclaimer: I'm getting over a bit of a flu here, so like, not to like give myself an excuse for failing and sucking. But if I'm awful, that's probably why. Not because I actually don't have a good palate. Just kidding. Actually, I'm really bad at this, but it should be fun anyway. So, all right, are you ready, Aaron?
Yeah. I think you've got the samples poured. So yeah, let's start.
Yeah, actually, I do not have them poured yet. But let me go ahead and pour all 3 of them.
Okay.
Oh, I should have tried to unscrew
A1,
these before.
2, and 3, right?
Oh my gosh, you tied these on tight. I knew I was going to run into this issue. Hold on.
My bad. I always cinch those down so that they don't have a chance of leaking.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Yeah,
okay, hold on.
Sorry about that, buddy.
No, I should have tried it before, honestly. This has happened before, and I wonder if it's from you. Jesus, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Do you have any tips on opening your samples?
I mean,
Jesus.
I was an electrician when I was a kid, so...
I wonder why.
That and like 10 years of jiu-jitsu.
All right, hold on. I'm going to have to probably get Justin's help with this because none of those are budging for me. Okay.
Sorry about that.
I should have tested it. Okay, hold on. Well, why don't you tell people about what you do on Instagram, and I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. My Whiskey Pair Instagram is really just for sharing all the whiskeys that I try and some of the cigars and pairings. I honestly don't post all that much, but I use it kind of to view all the rest of the whiskey content and the cigar content on Instagram. I think this will be a lot of fun. The tournament that those guys put on is always a blast. I've been recommending them for a while to kind of broaden it and allow external people to do it. I think they could actually, create a tournament that other people would want to attend. It is a blast. So for the first few rounds of the tournament, it's 3 samples, but closer to the end, and I think just the finals actually is 5 samples, and that one's actually a challenge because in my opinion, after about 3 samples, it's kind of hard to start discerning flavors, and it's easy to fool yourself into thinking you know what you're tasting. And I've done that to myself a few times. I've been given samples of things that I know and love, and thought they were something completely different. So yeah, it's always challenging drinking blind and trying to guess, what the product is.
All right, crisis averted. All right, we're good. We're good.
Cool.
Dude, they're definitely not going to leak. I'll tell you that. My hand's about to start bleeding though, but we got it. That's good to know for future tastings. All right, but they are all open now. Let me go ahead and pour all 3 of them.
Okay, cool. Another thing, in the tournament, typically most people use a control pour, and the purpose of that is to have something that and you're very familiar with, and typically to kind of calibrate. So something 100 proof or kind of lowish proof. I just grabbed a bottle of Eco Rare.
Nice.
Not something we're drinking tonight, but
yeah. Well, it's actually close to. Well, it's close to why I picked my control pour. So I also do a control pour every time. Thankfully, Matt lets us do that for Matt Madness as well.
Oh, cool.
So I like to have something that's a very baseline for me. So for me this year, I don't know if I'll do the same for Matt Madness. I might test it differently, but I actually grabbed the Old Forester 1924, which is now this isn't going to help me out if the mash bill is brown forming, because this is a different mash bill than most of their stuff. But it's 10 years old. It's 100 proof. So it'll kind of set me with that 100 proof point. That's usually where I get hung up on, if it's above or under 100 proof. So hopefully this helps out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pour that now as well as my control.
Yeah, it's similar. They're both 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think normally last year I did Knob Creek 12 as my control pour. I don't know if it was very helpful because I don't think it helped me in my scores. Oh, Brandon says save him a sample. Brandon, it's getting low. You need to get your ass over here. All right, I'll save you a sample. I'll pour a sample after this stream.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, they've all been poured. I have my control pour here. So set my palate a bit. 10 years old is pretty old in the terms of bourbon. So probably, I don't know. I think this might be a little bit too old to do as a control pour.
I've got the bottles here, so I'm going to pour myself as well. I should have done that when you were trying to get the bottles open.
I won't look. Don't show the camera. Have you tried the 1924 yet?
I haven't had it yet. A lot of people, I've heard basically that it's very good, but it's kind of pricey for what it is.
Yeah, it was. I like it because it's a different kind of. I think it's a different mash bill than most Old Forester stuff, and it's the one that I like. So to me, I don't typically like brown Forman products. So this one actually, it works for me. So I like it. Would I buy another bottle? I think I paid $120, $130 for it. Probably not.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was like $150 retail-ish, or at least.
I got it at Bevmo, so like I think it was $130. I don't know. Maybe it's been a minute. I wasn't planning to get it, but it was on the shelf. I'm like, I might as well. Brandon says, when are we streaming again? I don't know, man. You gotta let me know. Let me know. You're welcome up here anytime.
He streams with you all the time, and I do one, and he's suddenly.
Right. It's been a minute though. It's been a minute since he's been here, so I'll give him that. But... All right, I got my palate set with this one. I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
What do you think about the color? Quite a few of my friends use that as a kind of.
I mean, the thing is,
for age.
You can use it for a lot of things, but until you know what you're drinking, because one, it could be influenced by age. Two, it could be influenced by proof. You know, if it's like a high proofer. 3, also like state. I mean, if it's Texas, it's going to be dark. 4, and then if it's finished. So like honestly, I don't think of color as an indicator, but maybe if it's like lighter, then it's like okay, it's probably younger. But yeah, I haven't typically used color as a indicator. All right, so I have my A1 here. Now, is this timed necessarily or no?
Not normally.
Okay.
At least the other group, they don't have really any kind of time limit. I mean, if you're taking too long, they'll.
Oh yeah, sure. And we also don't do nosing versus tasting. You're letting me do the full experience here, so nosing it now. Yeah, definitely an American whiskey. I was gonna say it smells like a bourbon on the nose, just first impression. Does have a little bit. I don't know. There's a little bit of like, if it's a bourbon, it's definitely a rye bourbon because there's some of that like kind of like grassiness to it too. All right, I'm gonna taste it because I can't get too much on the nose, especially because I'm sick. So.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah.
Oof, that's definitely more than 100 proof. Okay, I like that. By the way, that's really good. All right, so you got to remind me of the question. So you're gonna
Sure.
take notes, right? Like of my answers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you want to do one by one, we can do that. I'll just read through them again. So age, proof, mash bill, state, distillery, and finished. So let's just go through them.
All right,
After
I'm
that,
making notes
after
on
that.
my end as well, so I can reference it.
Okay, sure.
All right, so the first question was age. Okay. I'm gonna go with my gut here. For some reason, my gut is saying 7.
Okay.
I don't know where that's coming from. I'm gonna say 7 years.
You've got
Usually,
time.
if you
I'll
go
allow
with your
you.
gut on Matt Madness, it like somehow weirdly like works. So I'm just gonna go with it.
I mean, that's the way they say you should take tests, right? Or do
Yeah.
anything. Like your first impression. I mean,
To me, this doesn't taste like it has like some characteristics that I can. I think it drinks younger than the 10-year that I'm drinking now, but it's definitely like not a young whiskey at all. So it makes me think it's like 5 to 10. So I'm like, I'm gonna go 7.
got it. Okay, you're sticking with 7. And feel
Yeah.
free to jump around. If you think like, oh, I think it's this distillery, we can just answer that question. It's totally up to you.
Well, let's go in order for this one and then the next one. Now that I'll have all the questions listed out, I might skip around for the next one.
Cool. Okay, so you did mention that this drink's a little
Hot.
hotter than the first one.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think the proof is?
Proof. All right, let me go back to my control. Yeah. I mean, 100. It doesn't like read like hazmat or anything crazy. Oh, the nose is getting interesting on this one. All right, I'm gonna go. That's pretty hot. I'm gonna go 118.
Got it. 118 proof on the A1 sample.
Yep.
Okay. Mash bill. So do you think it's a standard rye bourbon? Do you think it's a wheated bourbon, a straight rye, or maybe something else?
Some of the flavor profiles kind of remind me of some of the wheated or like wheat whiskeys I've had, but it has more bite than I imagine a wheat whiskey would have. Okay, I'm gonna stick with wheat. I'm gonna say wheated bourbon.
Okay. What state do you think it's from?
I think I'm gonna. Oh, okay, I'm gonna take a sip every time. I should have poured more. I think it's Kentucky.
All right. Do you have a guess on the distillery if it's in Kentucky?
I'm gonna say Heaven Hill. There's a bottle that I think this could be, but I'm not gonna. I don't know if I want to say it or not.
Okay. Heaven Hill. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this is a finished product?
I don't think so. Well, question. Does like, for example, like let's say it's like a French oak. Does that count as a finish as well? Like finished in French oak staves?
If it's finished in French oak, yes.
But if it's okay, gotcha.
So the other group considers anything after the initial barrel
Gotcha.
to be finished.
Okay.
So even,
I'm
even
just gonna-
double oaked to them is finished. Any other
okay.
barrel after
Gotcha.
initial maturation is.
I'm gonna say not finished.
Okay, so no. All right, so I'll just review your answers real quick.
Okay, yeah. Let's see how I scored on the first one.
Okay, so 7 years. You guessed 118 proof. You're guessing it's a wheated bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
You guessed Kentucky Distillery, you guessed Heaven Hill. And finished, you said no.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to tally real quick. Give me just a second.
Okay. By the way, for the chat, I'm thinking it could be a larceny barrel proof. That's you probably got that from what I said, what my answers were, but I didn't start thinking that until I got to the mash bill part. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting some like weeded characteristics, but I did say minty early on, and I was thinking like, oh, it could be a rye. So, gosh, I'm so bad at this. We'll find out. If I get a 0 out of 0, we'll see.
Okay, so for that one, you got 2 out of an 8 possible.
Oh, God damn! Wow. Okay, that's not good.
No, you actually did really well, but that'll be revealed later.
Are you able to tell if those 2 points came from the same answer, or is it 2 different answers?
I'll tell you, it was from 2 different answers.
Okay. So I didn't nail anything. Well, I guess I did. Maybe I don't know. Okay. Anyways, next one, A2. By the way, we're probably going to finish a bit early, so what we're going to do is we're going to see how bad I do, and then find what area I need to improve on. And then I might go grab a couple bottles from my shelves, kind of do a little comparison.
Do the wheel afterwards?
Man, I don't have the wheel in front of me, but I do have a sample drawer, so we might just grab out of it. So, all right, let's go on and move on to A2 then. A2.
Okay, go ahead and nose and feel free to taste.
I will say, all these have smelled great so far. Honestly, that's pretty similar on the nose. Okay, now I'm like, are you messing with me? Are these all the same distillery?
That's actually the fun. The guys that set it up very much like have themes, and they have sub themes. Like typically the first round is just kind of random stuff, but like things you might know. At least from what I remember, the second round can sometimes just be curveballs. And it'll be all over the place.
And reminder to you guys, if you guys listen to my podcast, Aaron did one of these blind flights for our local group once, and we did them blind, and we recorded a podcast. And guess what? He messed with it. I don't want to. Well, I guess I can spoil it. It's been a while now. They were all George Dickel single barrel bottles, but I was pretty good. I did guess. I'm like, I thought he was messing with it. I was like, I thought I said it kind of as a joke, like, are these all Dickel? And he didn't answer, and it turns out they were. So.
My buddy corrected me, and he's right. You actually got 3 out of 8 points.
Oh, okay.
So sorry about that.
No, all good. Okay, I feel a little more confident. Not quite still a failing grade, but
No, I mean, gosh, sometimes a round will be single digits for all 3 samples. Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely don't feel bad about that score. In fact, there are some rounds where people get 1 or 0 points.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
By the way, Juan's in the chat. He said that was a super fun day. Good to see you, my man. It's been a minute. Hope to catch up with you soon. Oh, people are excited for the sample drawer. All right, we might got to pull some samples out in the end. What's up, Bill? He said make sure to hit that like button. Yes, if you guys want to see more training videos, we have multiple rounds of this. You've sent so many flights. So if you guys want to see more of this, let us know. I'm happy to invite him back on anytime. Here's Swan is here as well. And thank you, Donnie, for dropping the subscribe. Yes, subscribe too if you guys are new. But I think most people here are familiar with the channel. If not, hey, hit the subscribe button. It does help out a ton. All right, I think I'm ready to start guessing on A2.
Awesome. Go for it.
I'm going to go with age first. I think this one's a bit older. I'm going to say 10. I'm going to say it's 10 years.
Okay.
Although, I think it tastes older than the Old Forester 10 year I'm drinking now. So I'm like... 12 year. Changed my mind. I'm going to say 12 year. I'm going to say 125 proof. I'm going to say rye. If I'm going too fast, let me know.
No, I'll move at your pace. Rye bourbon?
Okay. Rye bourbon mash bill.
Okay.
Now distillery. I mean, for it tasting so old, I feel like it has to be Kentucky.
Forgive me. I'm going to use my phone for a second to check. There's one fact I want to confirm on this.
Okay. No worries.
Take your time.
I'll pause. Yeah. Fred says do it. Always down for more Artino. So, yeah. It's fun. It's fun doing it double blind because, like, when I'm doing a blind out of my own collection, it's like I kind of already know what I have. So I can kind of start putting the puzzle pieces together. But when it's totally blind like this, I have no idea what you're going to pull out.
Yep. That's what makes it fun.
Don says, see you on the after party. Yes, if you guys are in Discord, make sure to join us for the Patreon after party. Aaron, you're welcome to be there. I mean, you're a patron anyways, right? So like you can hop on anytime, but you're welcome to be there tonight, especially.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of rarely get a chance to watch your stream, honestly, because my kids are, normally in their wind down mode, and we're having dinner and doing bath time and stuff. So I join when I can, though.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support on Patreon too.
Right on.
Distillery is tough on this one, man. It's so dry.
Okay. You're getting kind of a cloying, kind of dry. Yeah. I feel it's not a lasting kind of.
No, it's not bright at all, and it makes me question. I honestly haven't had much older Barton, and that's what's kind of potentially what I'm leaning towards. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna say Barton.
Barton, got it. Oh, I put that in state.
Yeah, I said Kentucky for state. Finished. Now the whole like double oak of it all makes me feel like that could be a double oaked. It's really dark. I'm gonna say finished. I'm gonna say it for this one. I don't know. I'm gonna go with my gut. To me, this tastes like a double oaked something. All right, so I think I answered every question, right? Or not right, like correct, but I've answered every question.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, go and start tallying.
Yeah, give me just a minute to tally.
Yeah. Donnie just reminded me of we are doing our monthly movie night, which is for everyone $5 and up on Patreon. We're watching The Blues Brothers, which I've never seen. I assume you've seen it, Aaron.
Blues Brother? Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it, but everyone's been begging me to see it. So we're going to do that not this Friday, but next Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific. So everyone $5 up on Patreon, join us. It's like a $5 movie ticket. You guys won't be disappointed. And we do a little watch party on Discord. Brandon says, does Barton make a double oaked product? Probably not. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, if it's not old, it's double oaked. So that's what makes me think I'm going to kind of just put that out there just in case. Fred says, have you not had the Sam Houston or Calumet? I've had samples of them, and each of them precisely one time. So, yes, I've had them. Can I place the palette? No. But those are, I just don't have experience with them. So, that's what I'm guessing.
What was your answer on the finished again? Sorry.
I said yes. I said, I'm going to say it's either double oaked or it's like old. So, I'm like, if I was wrong on how old it is, I'm hoping it's double oaked.
Okay, cool. You got 2 out of 7 on that one.
2 out of 7. Okay. Wait, is it out of 7 or out of 8?
It's 7 because there was no point available for one of the categories.
I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Not doing much better. Well, okay. We got one more to do.
Don't be disheartened. It's practice. This is all about recognition.
It's practice, yeah.
It's all about recognition. So when you go back through these samples and you taste them again after having these thoughts, you'll be able to associate these with the products that they are, and you just get better. It's all about practice.
Yeah.
It's funny, the guy who's watching now, who runs the other tournament, I think it's funny that I always joke that I did okay in the tournaments. I got second place 3 times in a row, so I joke that I came in first loser 3 times. So.
That's better than I've done with Madness. So
I'll tell you though, the 2 guys that I've lost to are really, really good at this. Like I got blown out. I think the scores they were like 50% higher than me on the finals. But okay, so yeah, 2 out of 7 on that one. You still did pretty good. I think that one kind of had you seemed kind of perplexed by it.
Well, until I just tried A3, and then now I'm even more. I'm like, this is completely unfamiliar to me. Now, watch it be something I drink regularly. That palette, it's. I'm gonna go ahead and guess the finished question. I'm gonna say yes. I think this is finished.
Okay, give me a second to catch up.
I think that has kind of a bit of a sherry or something going on.
Okay, so yes on finished.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Age, I'm gonna say this one definitely drinks. To me, it drinks a little younger. I think. And by younger, I mean compared to the other ones, not that it tastes young. I'm going to say 6 years on this one. Proof? It's high, but I think it has more body from the finish, potentially. I don't know. Zover says don't overthink it. I'm trying. hmm. Proof, I'm gonna guess that I was really off on that last proof guess at the 125. I think I'm guessing high. I'm gonna guess this proof right around. I'm gonna say 115. Say 115 to the proof. Mash bill. This was what's tricky. This doesn't taste familiar to me, which means it could be a unique rye or something that I've not had before.
Okay.
My gut is saying rye. I'm gonna say rye. I don't think it's like a high rye, but I think it could be a rye. State. Now this doesn't taste like a Kentucky whiskey, but I mean I could be wrong. Obviously, I probably am. They're saying that you only lost by 1 and 2 points in 2 of the championship. Wow, that's way better. That's amazing. I guess I need more practice. State. This is really good. I'm gonna say Indiana. It's not sticking out to me as a specific flavor profile of a Kentucky distillery, so I'm gonna say Indiana. You know, when in doubt, just say Indiana. Distillery. Now that's like, I might as well just double down on it and just say MGP. I don't think it's an MGP rye though. It doesn't taste like their ryes, but I'm gonna just stick with it.
Okay. So are you saying straight rye for mash bill?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that's right, but I'm gonna say it.
Take your time if you want to sip it some more. And
I'm gonna say it's a rye. I'm gonna stick with it.
got it. Okay.
I just don't think it's an Indiana rye.
So I'm going to walk through the answers again real quick.
Okay.
For sample A3, age, you said 6 years. Proof, you said 115.
Mm-hmm.
Mash bill, straight rye. State, Indiana. Distillery, MGP. Finished, yes.
I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with those answers.
Okay, cool. Give me just a second to tally.
Let me guess. That one's a 0.
No, you got 4 out of 8 on that one.
Oh, okay. Maybe. See, I went with my gut, which is what I should be doing the whole time.
Okay,
right.
So what did you think about the entire flight? Did you have a preference? Like, what was your favorite? And overall thoughts?
It reminded me how difficult this is. Honestly, that was my first thought. Like, because like you go into this, you're like, oh, I think I know the flavor profile of this distillery, or I think I know how this proof tastes. But when you're doing it and you're being like judged on it, it's like your mind races and you're like second guessing yourself over and over and again. And
yep, I know.
And then as you're going through, even if you're getting as you're giving your answers on the same one, you start to think like, wait a minute, do I think this is the bourbon? Do I think this is 12 years old? Like.
Yeah, there have been multiple instances where people changed their answers and changed it from a correct answer to an incorrect answer.
Really?
And I think I did that a few times actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely done it on Map Madness for sure. In terms of favorite, honestly, I like A2 and A3.
Okay.
A2 tastes like something I'm very familiar with. It almost, now that I've gone back to it, it's kind of reminded me of like maybe a Jim Beam pot, like a Booker's or something. I don't know. Obviously, we'll find out very shortly. But going back to A2, it's kind of going to the flavor profile I typically love. So we'll see. Let's go through the answers for A1. So before you reveal the bottle, do you want to go through each one and say what I guessed versus what the real answer was?
Yeah. Okay. So for sample A1, you said 7 years.
Yeah.
That was a 10-year whiskey.
Man, I should have stuck with 10. Okay. 7.
I think it's fun to talk about it since you are just trying to train for the tournament. I think that the proof you were getting on the palate was kind of deceiving you on the age. I think, at least from how you were describing it, I get the impression that the heat kind of detracted from the kind of the oak character. But I will agree with you. This kind of drinks a little bit younger than it is.
Okay.
I do like it though. I like
Yeah.
this. I like
I
it.
like them all. They were all really good. It just, if I had to pick a favorite, it's A2.
Cool. Okay. The parrots are out. Did you hear that, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Proof.
Proof. You said 118.
How off was I?
No, you were very close. It was 121.
Oh, okay. So I got 1 point from that.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. You were very That's really accurate for that one.
That's good to
really
know.
good.
Okay. I'm usually pretty good with proof.
Proof is one of my challenges. I have a hard time with it. I've been off by like
Really?
10, 15 points. Yeah.
The thing is, if I'm off for all of the proofs. So like I noticed one year in Mad Madness, my proof radar was so off that like every proof I guess was ridiculously lower than it should have been.
So you think you have like a specific offset, like down, like too low by like 10 points or something like that?
I don't know, whatever it is, it's like once I get off, I stick to being off. Like I'm not like all over the place. Like I'm not guessing like too low, too high, too low. Usually I'm like pretty close, or like I'm off in the same direction. Like I'm guessing low on all of them, or I'm guessing high on all of them.
I think the like a consistent control pour in between pours or in between the samples, as well as cleaning your palate with like a lot of water is.
Yeah, I didn't drink enough
really
water this time. I will say that. Yeah, I did not rinse every sample. So.
I think that's really important. Okay, so yeah, you did really good on proof there. Mash Bill, you said weeded bourbon. This is a straight rye.
Oh man, you know the first thing I said, I thought it was a rye, and then I'm like, oh no, that tastes like a weeder.
I heard you say that, and I was like, I was gonna get this one. But I agree with you, because this is a straight rye that doesn't really. It kind of drinks more like a bourbon. It's one of those.
Yeah, like it was I could taste the grain, and to me, the grain tasted more like a wheat. Like I didn't want to say straight up wheat whiskey. Like I didn't think it was that, but I got like it was very grain forward, which is interesting with it being 10 years. Now I'm like, okay, I'm
almost certain. I'm almost certain I would have guessed this was a rye bourbon, just because it has that hint of rye note. If I get any kind of like medicinality or kind of green notes, I will almost always lead toward rye bourbon. If I get a lot, I typically go for straight rye. Okay. I love ryes though, so I think I kind of do better with rye.
I will say I did just go back to it. I think one thing I need to do in the future, I need to pre-pour and let them sit out for a minute, because that's changed on the palate from when I poured it to like just now.
This one, sure.
It would be helping. It would help out if I let them open up a bit more for the next time.
Oh, the nose is really nice on this now.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Now, okay, so we know it's a rye. We know it's 121 proof, 10 years old. I still couldn't tell you what it is based on that information. That's still like, I have no idea. Let's keep going. Let's go to state.
So yeah, straight rye. State of Kentucky. You got a point on that.
Okay. Oh, Kentucky rye. Interesting. Okay.
Distillery. You guessed Heaven Hill. And I think I probably would have done the same. But it's a beam product.
Gotcha. Is this the Old Overholt 10 year? It is. Oh, I actually have a bottle of that. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
I wanted to wait till like we talked about all the scores, but since you now know exactly.
Sorry,
all good.
Yeah, Brandon chimed in. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I love this bottle. It's so unique. It's so different. It's weird that there's such an old beam rye. I wish they would release their, Booker's rye again. But yeah, that's really good.
Got it. I've only had Booker's rye like 3 times at bars, and
I've only had it with you guys at like meetups and stuff. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. The time at the oh man, that stuff blew my mind. I think I have a theory that he laid down those special barrels using German rye, because I've had other products with German rye, and it has that same kind of earthy, chocolatey kind of note to it, as opposed to being kind of medicinal and like toothpastey.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to see another product like that, because nobody knows what the recipe is. They're claiming they're doing it again, but like nobody knows. Anyways, so obviously, it wasn't
not finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow,
so,
that one surprised me. I that one threw me off. And for reference, Old Overholt, it's a low rye, so it's not like 100% rye, but it's still a rye. And I fucked that up. So,
no, all right, let's put it in as a curveball for you at the start, because it's kind of high proof, and it's a rye that doesn't drink like a rye. So Don't
And
don't
also
worry about it.
older rye is hard to come by too. I honestly, so
Yeah.
when I was guessing age and proof, I was in the mindset it was a rye. It wasn't until you asked mash bill that I started second guessing myself, and that's when I went into weeded. Yeah.
I find that Heaven Hill and Beam have a lot of characters in common, and
Oh,
from
they
what I
do. Yeah.
understand, like basically after the fire, um, Beam supplied yeast so that they could kind of
Mm.
continue production. So a lot of the products have a lot in common because they're essentially using the same yeast strains. So okay, for A2, I'll speed things up a little bit. So you guessed 10 for age statement.
Sorry, A2, I guess 12.
12.
Yeah, I
Oh,
originally said 10, but I went back and changed it to 12 before we got to the reveal.
that's fine. It's no age statement. I couldn't find an official age
Oh,
statement,
okay.
so
All
I'm
right.
not going to give. There's no point for that one. Proof, you guessed 125. It was 109, so no
Oh,
point for
wow. I
that.
was really off on that one. Okay.
Mash bill, you guessed rye bourbon. It was a weeded bourbon.
Damn it. Okay.
State, you got Kentucky. That's correct.
Okay. Distillery.
Distillery, you guessed Barton. That was not correct.
Mm.
I'll tell you the distillery in just a second. But finished, you guessed yes. This is considered finished.
Okay. Okay.
So the distillery is Maker's Mark.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
Is this the
reveal the bottle.
46?
Let's just do it since we're going through them one by one. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So it's the BEP.
Oh, okay.
Wood finish series.
Okay.
The last one that was supposed to be barrel entry proof, but
I will say the one comment I made on this one was it's either really old or it's finished, like a double oak or something. So I was at least onto something with that double oak. I was definitely wrong with the age. It's definitely not 12 years old.
I don't know what the age is. I think it's probably in the standard maker's range of like
Like
7
what
to
is that?
10
Like
max.
7 to 10. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the standard stuff is always pulled around 7 or so. The only exception is like the cellar aged.
Right.
Okay, I think you did the best on this one.
Okay.
So for age statement, you said 6 years. It was 5 years. So
Okay,
you got
close.
1 point. So you're
All
very,
right.
very close on that. For proof, this one, you said 115.
Mhm.
Actual proof was 118. So you're only 3
So
off.
close. Okay.
You got a point. You called this a straight rye, and it's a rye bourbon, a standard bourbon.
Okay.
State, you called Indiana. That was correct.
Oh, okay.
For distillery, you selected MGP. That was correct as well. For finished, you said yes. It was not.
Not
It was
finished.
not finished. So
Okay.
this was one of the really older.
Oh yeah, I bought a shit
stout.
ton of those when those were hitting every store around here.
This was, I think, the second one that Red Hill Liquor did. I really like this one
Mhm.
a lot. I think it turned out great.
Okay, well, I was pretty close. So yeah, I guess 6 years. Honestly, like 5, 6 years. It's really hard to tell the difference between a 5 and 6 year. I said rye, so now I'm gonna pour a little bit more of that because I think I'm getting thrown off between rye and rye bourbons. I think it's so tough for me to just guess that. I'm gonna
I
pour a
do
little
think
bit
you're
more of that
still a little handicapped by the nosing, like when you're kind of congested from the
one. Yeah,
cold.
no, I mean, if you guys, I told Aaron yesterday when
Sorry
we were
to use
planning
that
this.
term.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I told Aaron yesterday, I was like, I don't know if we'll be able to stream tomorrow because I can't, like, yesterday I literally couldn't tell the difference between, like, just like, it all just kind of tasted the same to me. So I'm like, I'll probably have to cancel the stream tomorrow. We can do it next week. But today, like, I did like a little pour, like, in the late afternoon. I was like, okay, I can pick up the nuances that I expect from this whiskey. Let's just go for it and see what happens. So, I will say, I did kind of like use that as an excuse, but I mean, I felt pretty good about this one. I mean, I guess the distillery. I just was wrong about the rye versus a rye bourbon.
Yeah. Truth is, you were very close on the proof.
Mhm.
If you would have got the mash bill and not said that it
Finish.
was
I don't know what I can't remember. You know what I said? I thought there was a bit of a sherry or something going on with it, which is funny because a lot of Indiana rye is finished in sherry. So maybe I was kind of thinking along that lines. I was like, maybe it's like not necessarily like a midwinter's night dram, but like I know that they had an Old Scout rye that was finished in sherry that I loved.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that familiarity with, a lot of finished MGP products, it makes sense to kind of
Mhm.
associate those flavors with the finished stuff you've had
Right.
previously. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. For some reason, I was getting sherry, but like now that I've gone back to like, I do think I see why I was tempted to say finish, but there's now that I know there's not a finish on, I'm like, okay, what was I interpreting as sherry? To me, I think it's probably just sweetness with it being younger. Also, sweetness with it being a bourbon versus a rye. Because in my mind, if it was a rye, I was like, why is this sweet? Oh, it's probably finished. So that's kind of how my process for that.
Right on. Yeah, you did really well. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so where was I the worst? Okay, let's look at what would you say? What area do I need to work on the most out of all this?
Well,
Type of
conversely,
whiskey, right?
I think you did do really well in proof. I mean, you were really close on
I'm usually
age.
pretty good at like not to like toot my own horn, but like usually unless I'm something throws me off, I'm usually good about proof.
On two, you were thrown off. You were
Oh, I was way off. Yeah.
15 points off, but then you kind of corrected that after. You mentioned like, oh, I know that I probably guessed that one too high.
Yeah.
So, I think that mash bill is something you should practice if you could.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Again,
think of
I think that really comes down to the your nose and kind
yeah.
of not being able to smell all that great. I think you would
Yeah.
have picked up very much.
Especially rye. Like usually I'm good at
Yeah.
picking up rye, but I think you're right. I think that's kind of what threw me off a little bit. But that's something I'm trying to think. Like, do I have a distillery where I have a bourbon and a rye from the same distillery? Probably Indiana somewhere. I just don't know where where I have those. But you know what? Well, we got like what 10 minutes left. Let me go to my sample drawer. Let me see if I can find. Let's find something in those categories. I do have. Let's see. Well, I have a. Oh, I know what one. No, that's wheat. Damn it. All right, I'm doing it anyways. All right. So I have a Larceny Barrel Proof B523 from last year, and I have a Parker's Heritage Rye Whiskey. So both Heaven Hill, one's a wheated bourbon and one's a rye. Maybe
Oh, that Parker's Heritage Rye. You
Oh, I
do
know.
that one.
Yeah.
I'll go get that bottle.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of try that comparison. I know they're not quite the same level, but I also have a the old Fitz wheated bourbon, but that's so low proof comparatively. I don't think that's as fair. I would rather do a similarly proofed, similarly aged product between the Larceny Barrel Proof and the Parker's Heritage Barrel Proof Rye. So I'm just rinsing my glasses real quick just to do a little comparison there. By the way, what are you guys drinking tonight? Zopher said water. Yes, drinking water. Fred says I have overhaul and a lot of beam. That's a good point. Honestly, I don't have that much beam right now. I've drank a quarter of a glass. I actually don't have that much beam. I usually have a ton of it, but I don't lately. But yeah, all right. So I'm rinsing my glasses to kind of do this. So, Aaron, you may have missed it, but I said like I did have some old Fitzgerald, but it's not close enough in proof. These two are 4 proof points off. Both cast strength. Larceny Barrel Proof is 6 to 8 years old, so kind of close age wise. Do you know the age of that rye? Do you have it?
Well, the Parker's.
Yes. So is that the heavily toasted or is that just the 10-year rye? Okay, same one I have.
The standard 10 year 64.4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Larceny I have is 62.2 and the Parker's Heritage is 64.4. So this is kind of a weird comparison, but
Brandon knows I love rye, and he was gracious enough to help me get this one.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, I love Parker's Heritage. They always knock it out of the park.
Yeah. Well, there's only that one exception, right? The Curacao finish.
That's true. That's true. I've tried that on several occasions, and every time I'm like, why is this Parker's Heritage?
Exactly. I mean,
it's not that it's bad. It's just like this doesn't taste. It's just not up to par with like the other stuff.
They should have not made it Parker's. It should have been like the cocktail series or something.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. The first time I had that, I was at a whiskey festival, and it was like their under the table kind of special. Like, oh, we got this. I'm like, oh, what's that? And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
right, so I'm starting with the Larceny just to kind of try the wheat and then go into the rye. It's a wheated bourbon. It's not a wheat whiskey, but
I don't have that one readily available, so I'll wait.
no. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm just kind of
Okay.
setting my palate. So because I thought I got a wheated note on A1, but that was the rye. That was the old Overholt rye. So I'm trying to see like what made me think it was a wheat. Because wheat to me is like people say soft, right? But when you combine that with high proof, it kind of gets hard to tell. You know, like you say it's soft, but if you're drinking something that's like 124.4 proof, it's not going to be soft in that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see, this is what I thought that first one was when you gave it to me. The A1, I thought it was Larceny Barrel Proof, but now that I'm trying Larceny Barrel Proof, I'm like, yeah, no.
Okay.
Not at all. All right, I'm going to go to the Parker's Heritage now. So this is the 10-year, 17th edition, 128.8 proof.
Oh, that is good.
So good. So good.
There's so much like earthy, rich grain
Mm-hmm.
to it. It's, gosh.
But interestingly enough, like these, I'm not gonna say they taste like cousins, but I'm like that. This ain't. We're not in the South anymore. But no, they taste. they taste of the same. Like there's some similarities there that I'm getting, and it could just be because they're both Heaven Hill. They're both similarly aged, similarly proof. I see why I could get those mixed up. This makes me wonder, why does Heaven Hill not do a cast strength rye batch like they're doing with Larceny, Elijah Craig, or Bernheim, the wheat whiskey? Why is there not a Pikesville batch A124 beef? Like, that's what I want to know. Why are they not doing this more often?
Brother, I
know.
love Pikesville. I mean, that's one of the bottles that's still pretty reasonable. You can get it for like $35-40.
Yeah, around 40. Yeah.
And anytime I see it for that, I'm like, hey, if you want to try some whiskey, this is
Pikesville was one of the first ryes I ever bought, and I still stand by it. It's really good. I do think, I kind of thought when they announced the Elijah Craig rye, I was like, oh, they're going to use this to make Elijah Craig rye barrel proof, and then kind of use that as the name. But I'm like, they still haven't done it, so it's like, wonder why they're holding that one back. But
I don't know the difference between Rittenhouse, Pikesville, and Elijah Craig rye. Is there?
So Rittenhouse is bottled in bond. So it's 100 proof. It's around 4 to 5 years old. Elijah Craig is 94 proof, around 7 years old. Or sorry, around 6 years old. And then Pikesville, I think it's 7-year age statement. Pikesville has an age statement on it, so you're going up in age to kind of justify. And Pikesville's 114 proof.
But there isn't a mash bill difference, right?
Same exact mash bill. Yep.
Okay.
So you're going up in, you're changing proof, and then Pikesville's the oldest, and Rittenhouse is the youngest. So, and they're all relatively priced, right? Like Rittenhouse is 25, Elijah Craig is like 30, and then Pikesville's 40. So, but they're all really good. So Heaven Hill, if you're listening, make a cast strength regular release. This Parker's Heritage is so good.
It's pretty amazing. I love this stuff.
Cool. I think that we actually filled more time than I thought, so that was a lot of fun. I know I originally had you scheduled for next week. Do you want to come back for round 2 next week?
I'm good for next week. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, if you guys want to come back, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Leave your suggestions down below for tips on ways to help me improve for next week. But then, yeah, I will see you guys next week, same time, same place, and maybe I'll do a little bit better. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do some training in between. I'll also not be sick next week. Praise God. Hopefully. We'll see. But awesome. Well, Aaron, you guys make sure to go follow him on Instagram. Is that where pretty much people can find you?
Yeah. Whiskey Pair on Instagram. Yep.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram. I tagged him on my stories, so go to my stories today and you'll find it. Aaron, thank you so much. Yeah. Will you see you on the Hangout?
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Cliff. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, cool. I will see you over there. For those of you that are on Patreon, everyone $10 and up, join us for our after party hangout over on Discord. Until next time, cheers, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.